Welcome back. Another edition of Down and Back with CornDoug here for another week. We had our show on Wednesday, our Canada show for Canada Day. So that went extremely better than I thought it was going to go. But yeah, so great guest today. You know, we've got a ton of podcasts out there. We've got one of the newest ones on the block. Miguel Villa is here. He'll be joining the show to talk ACL down the States. We got the ACL one here for Canada, but he's the man down the States to talk cornhole on a podcast. So we'll be bringing him in. And as usual, we're still got no stuff happening up here with regards to our ACL stuff for our leagues or anything. Hoping that's coming soon. We're on phase 2 here now, opening phase 3 soon. So maybe we'll be able to get to have some more stuff, some more people playing together. But yeah, as you've seen yesterday, we still get together in some secret small groups. So yeah. So without any more ado, we'll bring Miguel in. Miguel, welcome to the Down and Back.
Hey, Doug. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So like I said, you're one of the newest podcasts around, but people probably didn't see you first in a podcast. They may have seen you kind of doing that over the shoulder shot at the ACL, all the ACL events. You kind of getting on TV all the time, and then of course your impressions that you do.
Right. Yeah. Well, it all started with me being in the background. The very first national I went to down in Florida when they had it outside in the big baseball field, and I was sitting by myself watching Winter's game. As you know, back then it was on ESPN3, and I was in that broadcast like the whole time, and I was literally like a perfect angle. And after that, I always tried to find myself in a perfect angle at every single national I went to. Of course, I tried to make it on the broadcast, actually playing, but I have only been playing for 2 years, 3 years competitively. So I'm getting to that level where I'm almost on ESPN. I know in the qualifiers, me and my partner, Gary, we were one game away from being on ESPN, playing down in South Bend. And then I was one game away from in the Erie qualifier, but I had to play Ryan Smith to get on ESPN. So I was one game away again. So I'm getting there. It's getting closer, but there's definitely a lot more work to do, for sure, to actually play on the broadcast.
Yeah. So you say you're playing for a couple of years. So how did you get your start playing?
Well, I played good 10 years ago. It was funny. The other day in Facebook, had a memory come up saying, one of my posts saying, "Oh, like I'm the beanbag master," and I was like, "Damn, I've been playing for 10 years." But that I never knew 10 years ago. I never knew about competitive cornhole. So I reshared it, and people were like, "You've been playing that long and you still suck?" Like, what? So that was pretty funny. But I mean, back then, I never knew about double-sided bags or about any organizations out there until 3 years ago. So I didn't. And during high school, I always played, but it was always in the backyard, always against my friends. I was the best player against my friends. But then, I went to college and work and more school, and I stopped playing until, I found some tournaments in the city of Chicago, in the rooftop of a bar down here. And me and my partner crushed it, looked for more tournaments, and came across ACL National in Lake Station, Indiana 3 years ago. And that's how I started playing competitive cornhole. So it's been a great journey to, start 10 years ago, not knowing anything about competitive bags, and then finding a national, like once I started playing again and getting, more involved. And then after that, the people I met just helped me through it. And it's been great.
Exactly. I think we're kind of almost the same. We both started 10 years ago, still struggling to get up into the top, but we're on the podcast circuit, so maybe we should hook up at a tournament and be like we'll take over that intermediate maybe.
Right.
But it is, and it's like you said, the people around cornhole they just kind of, everyone just gravitates to help you out. It's that great thing. I'm going to say it's the great thing about ACL, because it's almost all of the pros in the ACL are willing to help out the newer players starting out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, every pro wants you to play. We want to grow the sport of cornhole. Whether it's a lot of pros, a lot of very, very good players start up, blind draws and tournaments and leagues in their area to grow the sport because they love it. So we're here to help you in your game, and we're here to throw tournaments as well. So we do it all, and it's the group of pros that we have, they are great.
Yeah, it seems like whenever I've had the chance to be able to see some of them up close and talk to them in person, it's everyone's just there for that fun time where it's serious when you're in the game, but then as soon as that game is done, it's just let's just have some fun.
Yeah, I always heard that we're friends outside of the game, but when you're in the board next to me, like you're my enemy and I want to beat you, and so everybody has that competitive edge. But then once you step outside that box, everybody just loves each other. And, yes, there is drama. Yes, there is bickering. But at the end of the day, we all come back and shake hands and, keep going.
Yeah. So, in talking about the competitive edge, I've talked, and some of the other pros I've talked with, they've played that other sport growing up before they got to play the more competitive cornhole. Did you play any of the sports growing up?
During high school, I was in the volleyball team. I was in the baseball team. I was in cross country. I was in the soccer team, and I was in the bowling team. So I was very, very active in sports during high school, which again, the competitiveness is I love, and we made it probably the most successful. I was in volleyball, even though I'm, super short and I can't spike. But I was a setter, and I was a setter of, I had two twins that I was setting for, and these guys were amazing volleyball players. They used to play club, so they taught me a lot, and they taught me how to set it perfectly, and we made it pretty far in the city championships. So that was definitely the most valuable and the most in sports that I had in high school.
So now you did say you were the cross country runner, and talking with Christine Papke, she was the same. She was a marathon runner as well. And so do you think that may help you in your singles game, because that's that's a sport where you're all in your head to try and keep you going, especially on those long tournament days?
Oh yeah, and I guess it's a little different. Like it's definitely cross countries. You have to be kind of in your mind, and you have to kind of motivate yourself and so forth. And in cornhole, you use the same thing, but when you motivate yourself is when you hit good shots, and like you just keep going. And then when when you're on a winning streak and you're just hot, that momentum, like it doesn't stop. I had plenty of times where I felt great during the tournament. I mean, it was just I couldn't miss, during tournaments. And you just carry that momentum, and really like it feels like nobody could stop you. And a lot of pros feel that way. When you're hot, and like you go. But as soon as you are struggling and so forth, like it's like when you're running, like you have to push even harder to like just to get across the finish line. It's much harder, and just you have to fight through it. But sometimes you don't have the energy and so forth. And a lot of these pros forget to eat during the long tournaments. So that's something I have to train myself to, is find a spot to eat, and don't let it affect your game. Don't eat too much. Don't get too full.
Yeah.
So it's same thing with drinking. Don't drink too much. To make sure that you have that momentum.
Yeah, that was one thing we've had here where we had most of our tournaments, because of our turnout, we're still a bit small. So we've had smaller tournaments, and it's been just over in a couple of hours where we went and we did a regional and a conference in the same day. And some of our more inexperienced or newer players were like, by the end of the day, they were just dead. And it's like, this is what it's like going to a national or one of the other bigger tournaments down the States, because you're playing from like 9 in the morning till sometimes 11 at night, and then you got to get up and do it again the next day.
Oh yeah, and it's very, very exhausting for people that haven't never experienced it. It's bad on your feet. It's just, if you're not used to standing around for 12, 14 hours, definitely affects you, and affects you the next day, for sure.
Yeah. So we've gone from your start to how you progressed to being a pro here. You get to your impressions, which people know you from. So how did you start doing those?
Well, at first, I think the ideas came to me like because everybody around my community was like imitating like Matt Guy, and putting his hand out and stepping, and a few other cornhole players around the nation. And I was like, man, there's enough unique throws, like Steve Vanderveer with like in the middle of his legs and so forth. I was like, there's enough unique throws and enough now, like during that time when I did the first one, I made sure that I did it people that we saw on ESPN, or the people that we knew that in the cornhole community, you knew who I was impersonating. So it was great, it was. I didn't think it was gonna get as popular as it did, because as I did it with David Morse, and my girlfriend was shooting it, and it probably took us a good 2 hours to shoot everything, but the second one, I wanted to make it funnier. I wanted to make more players that aren't really like all the time on ESPN, but they're in cornhole that the community knows them well enough. Like Ryan Smith's girlfriend in the background. If you go to national tournaments, you're gonna see her recording in the background. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun doing the last one. I think I liked it more than the first one, for sure. Definitely had more fun. More wigs were involved. So it was funny.
Well, and I think that's the great thing about the cornhole world, is that everyone did laugh at it. No one was upset with it. It was just like, then it became a guessing game as to who you were actually doing, because it's, because you said everyone has their throw, everyone has their way, and let's face it, everyone's already trying to copy the way these guys throw anyway, so we can throw like them.
Right, exactly. And all the pros, everybody that I did was, very supportive. They didn't get mad. They were laughing about it, saying, "Hey, you did me perfect." Even this past one, Brandon Corwin was just like, "I hate you," because I was shaking on camera, and so that was probably the funniest one that I couldn't stop laughing when I was doing it, was Brandon Corwin. But he just kept saying, I hate you, and I'm gonna get you back. So that was funny. And this is the first time I saw him was in Erie, Pennsylvania, a couple weeks ago. So it was funny that like he finally saw me, because really everybody was, I was gonna go up to everybody in Cleveland National.
Yeah.
I did it right before Cleveland National. So and I did it on purpose so I could like get with everybody like once I did it. But since it got canceled, I didn't see anybody. Yeah. And James Washington was another player that hasn't seen me since, and he's like, he doesn't have Facebook, he doesn't have anything. He's like, my daughter showed me the videos, like great job, It's like, you did me good. He's like, was that really me? I was like, yeah, it was you. Didn't you see my big white T-shirt? Of course.
So have you had anyone come up and say, hey, How come you haven't done me yet?
Oh, everybody's gonna get offended because I haven't done them yet.
Yeah.
Trey Perchfield, what are you gonna do me? What am I gonna do? Just
Yeah.
stand there and not talk to the camera when you're getting interviewed? Like that's what I should do. Because
Yeah.
Perchfield he's hilarious when they interview him. Like, it's just so funny. But yeah, there's been numerous players saying like, "Hey, are you gonna do me next or what?"
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you need to do something first. You need to be on ESPN or make a good shot or something. But yeah, I think I'm not gonna make the third one for a while. It's like it was probably a good 9-10 months in between the first one and the second one. So the next one will be good because we have a lot of people with masks on. So.
Oh yeah, and like I said, it's just it's that good natured fun of it. It's like, it's that other extra thing for people to look forward to, because it is, like we said, we are all having fun here.
Yeah,
it's just fun to do.
TikTok has been pretty cool too. I didn't used to be on TikTok until quarantine made me kind of get an account, and I started making TikToks and all cornhole content. So,
Yeah.
The one with Noah Woon saying like, "Oh, this is my first day watching Noah Woon," or "This is my 5th day watching Noah Woon," and changing and progressing. And there's a lot of trends that I associate with cornhole and TikTok. So, that's if you're gonna see any more content of me like making fun of people or making funny videos,
Yeah,
it'll be through TikTok.
Yeah. So now we get to your latest endeavor here with the podcast, where I'm not sure starting it up in the during COVID was the easiest thing for you to try and do, but it's you've been doing a great job with it, and I've been watching you, and it's it's a thing where everyone says, oh, we can just start it and it's going to be easy, where it's there's still work involved in trying to get things going.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, the ACL reach out to me, and they say, hey, like, would you want to create a podcast? You and Rob Chismark will make your own, and you could call it whatever you want to call it, and it's yours. We'll support it, we'll share it, we'll try to get sponsors behind it, and you try to get sponsors behind it, and so forth. So it was a great opportunity for sure. Again, they came to me because of the imitation videos and my personality, and while in nationals, I'm a very outgoing guy and so forth. So definitely my first episode, I was 100% nervous, and everybody like called me out for it. But ever since then, it's been way easier, way better. Because in the first one, I didn't know what to expect. I never done a podcast before. I never done anything, just like myself. We did. I do have my apartment. We have an extra bedroom where I'm doing it, and we were gonna like kind of set up a stage where people would come and I would interview, or like more of a studio type. But because of COVID, we couldn't do that. We had to do everything through Zoom at first. Hopefully now, I haven't done one in about 2-3 weeks, just because of work, and it's been very, very busy this month. June and July are my busiest months at work. So I will get back to it, and hopefully it will be in the studio, or like more of live people on the podcast, face to face instead of through Zoom. So I have a couple of topics in mind for my next batch for sure.
Well, and that's the thing, especially at a time like this, is getting topics, because there's not much live going on.
Right.
You're trying to figure stuff out and get stuff going, and to be able to get content for the show, and then you do finally find content. You think, oh, I can maybe only get a couple of minutes of the show, and how else I can do, and all of a sudden I don't know if you're like me, thinking that, oh, the show's gonna be like, we'll just do a couple minutes show, maybe 10-15 minutes a week, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, gee, I'm an hour into this here. I was only going to be not long, but once you get going on these topics, the info just starts flowing.
Yeah. It's hard to stop, and at first, just because I know that a lot of people follow a lot of people that don't regularly play ACL, and they follow obviously the page and so forth. So uh, my audience at first, has been for kind of beginner players. We have new to the game. You have uh, my very first episode. We have two guys that were starting blind draws in our area that never played before a year ago competitively. So how the game has changed and everything. Kind of giving new players more knowledge. If a pro or player that has been playing for a long time listens to my podcast, it's like, oh, like, yeah, I knew everything that you've been saying. But I wanted my audience to be, people that are starting up and don't have that experience like we do. So if in time it's going to change because there's only enough topics where you could give advice to new players, and then you're going to run out of content. Trying to appease the new players. So I guess those new players that are following me, I think it's going to grow into just keep growing into okay, you've been playing for a year, this is not what you do, or and so forth. So I guess I'll grow as once my listeners, my audience starts growing in the cornhole, I'm going to start growing and kind of leading their way. So and of course I'll have different pros on there and so forth. So I'm excited for the future of cornhole culture for sure.
Oh, exactly. And I've said to a couple of other guys here that if the game is going to grow, us that run the podcast and stuff, we kind of have to be working together as well too, because that's as the game grows, we're going to grow,
Right.
and it's a vice versa thing, right? It's just we're all trying to get that, we're all on that same goal,
right?
To get everything. And there was a time where when I first started, I was kind of trying to figure out I need to get all these listeners, but then it's like you can try and get all the listeners you want, but it's your content, what you have on the show that you're doing, is what's actually going to bring the people out, no matter what's going on. It's what you have on your show.
Yeah, I mean, you have good quality content, and you only have 50 followers. Just keep putting quality out, and the numbers will grow. Don't worry about the numbers at first. As long as we're consistent, and we keep doing it, we keep doing high quality. Everything's gonna work out. It'll grow.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was wondering if I was gonna have enough content for show like 6, and here I'm on show I'm up over 60 here now, and it's just you get the stuff going, and it just becomes fun, and and it's okay to have that repeat guest on, and it's just it's and talking about the nationals coming up for the pro qualifiers, it's just getting that info out there to people.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing how much once everything starts opening it back up, like you were saying, you guys are still on phase 2 up there, and we literally just got here in Chicago opened up phase 4 on Friday. So like you said, we've been having underground stuff for the past month because we have to keep training and so forth for these qualifiers and nationals. But everybody has been so thirsty to come back, and everybody is like, hey, we got to run more days, more blind draws. Right now we're only doing a league on Thursdays, and everybody's asking, hey, we gotta grow, we gotta do Mondays, Tuesdays. I have somebody has opened up Tuesdays again, so it's opening back up, and players are getting that rust off, and they're anxious to better their game.
Yeah. So now speaking of pro stuff that's coming up, we got Philly coming up here this weekend. Are you going to be heading to Philly?
Yes, I'll be going down there Thursday night. So Friday morning, I'll be ready. I think I did pretty well in singles in the last qualifier in Erie. So hopefully I have carried that momentum. And doubles, not so much. I need to pick it up. That's for sure. So I'm looking forward to it. We're not going to be stepping out of the box like we have been in Philly.
Okay.
So that will definitely help. Even though, it didn't really bother me that much. People that don't step, I guess it was just them hesitating to leave the box or something like, I'm really a rhythm shooter and so forth. So I have to wait for them to leave the box and then I have to go and set and then throw. I rather them being in the box and just, going with the flow. So it'll definitely help, not being in the box, not being able to step out like her.
Yeah.
It's going to help.
Yeah. Because I know I've talked about that on other shows here is that it's a whole new game because it's some guys are going to be okay with that stepping on the box, and then there's other guys that are the rhythm players like you, where you get your stance and then you're ready to you're there until you're done throwing. But it's a really different thing. Now, did you play any of the ghost cornhole or just the deck round stuff?
I never played ghost cornhole but I did obviously tried it and so forth.
Yeah.
I did play virtual tournaments for the ACL when we did it for the pros, and I was on Price Picks a couple times. I'm pretty sure I disappointed a couple people when I went over or went under.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh no, he's not going to go over 95," and I get 99 or something, and piss a lot of people off. And then, or when I went under a couple of times too. So when they were betting on.
How that had to have been a different kind of pressure than what you're faced with doing that there. We're knowing that people have actually put money on whether you're going to succeed or fail. What did that feel like?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely different. I think I played better in virtual than in real life because I'm a blocker guy. Like I love putting the bag in front of the hole and playing the chess game. But during virtual, like you just have to go in.
Yeah.
So one time I got 109. That was my highest score. So I was surprised when I got 109. It's just because you have to be so consistent. But it's definitely once you get to the 7th, 8th frame and you know your score and you're like, all right, I can't miss 2-3 more bags. Otherwise, I'm going to go under. It's little pressure, but it's the same amount of pressure that you feel when you can't miss when your opponent has 19. He has 19. Like if I miss a bag, that's it. Game's over. So same type of pressure. So definitely that helped with staying the same and not staying rusty while playing real life tournaments to get that same feeling.
Yeah. So then, like you said, you are that fan of the chess game. How was that then switching gears to go back to playing against somebody in the pro qualifiers? Was that another adjustment you had to make?
Yeah, definitely. Now not because now I have to worry about what bags you're throwing with or what your game style is. Adam Hissner always says just play your game and don't worry about anybody else's game. But I don't believe that. I believe that you have to counter, what your opponent. Of course, play your game, but at the same time, if you're throwing against Ryan Smith and all he does is go hole, you have to put a block on. So you have to adjust to who you're playing against. And with these virtuals, everybody was just going hole, so it was easier to block because now they're used to going hole and now they got to do something different. So definitely I had the advantage, I guess, a little bit to those players. They just go hole, and because I've been that's all I practice my block game. I I practice more of my blocking than putting it in the hole, which is backwards. But I believe in the block. So.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I think you're with me, and I know I talked to some other people, and they said it really was going to be tough. I think for some people coming back out of this, going just hole, where there's that blocker there where they had that open lane to go for it.
Yeah.
And it's tough, and you keep saying about playing Ryan Smith, and I know I got to play Ryan Smith once. If I would have scored 21 more points, I actually might have had a chance to win the game, but he's another guy that he's beating me by 21 points, but the whole time he's giving me help on to get better, and that's just like I said, like that's all the ACL pros are just they're actually it's even when they're winning, it's fun to still play against them because you're learning.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, during that game, I'm not going to forget it because it taught me a lot. He slowed me down 5th frame, 6th frame. It's like boxing. It's like, you have a game plan, and I think he had that, I don't know if he had the game plan or not, or just adjusted during the game, but I didn't see it coming. Just like you're boxing, you're only boxing 10 rounds. You have a game plan. So mid-game, he started to slow down a lot, and that messed me up. So after that, it was over with.
There again, like you said, Adam Hisner said, you have to just play your game. You have to know that other opponent's game, because then that's, you have to be able to play all styles. So it's not just, you're not that one trick pony kind of deal, right? Where you gotta be able to play everything and know who you're playing,
right?
To maybe change your style up a bit.
I think it's going to be great for players that I guess don't make it far, or like there's people out there that would love to be scouters. There's I think there's going to be a great opportunity for scouting reports on players, especially because there's so many players out there that nobody knows about, that's so good. And it's like, okay, what's his play style? Like, if you've never seen him play before, even if it's watching them one game, it's not enough to, I think, oh, that's the next match I'm going to play. I'll play the winner of that or the loser of that. You go watch it. A lot of pros go and scout before games. But one game's not enough to like, okay, he's not that good on the right side of the board, or he's not that good on the left side of the board, or when there's a left blocker, he misses, or when right blocker, he misses. So like all these stats that you could take, it's just crazy that how much that you could really build a scouting report on people. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna start. I haven't recorded my games. I never record my games, but I think, and I know a lot of people record every single game they play. So I think I'm gonna start recording my games to scout myself and say, okay, what did I do here? Why did I miss? Or am I really weak in this position? I'm not gonna give out where I'm weak at right now. I'm very weak in one position that I have to like keep practicing. And some people might know what that position is. So it's like, if there's people out there that love cornhole and want to be make scouting reports, there's definitely the demand. There's definitely going to be a demand for it for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what makes the game fun for me is I like watching those other players, seeing what they do, seeing what their tendencies are, and try to exploit them. I don't do it that much, but just to try and exploit that, because that's that whole chess part of the game. That's the whole mind game that makes it so much fun.
Like, you never want to put a blocker on Jimmy McGuffin. You never want to put a blocker on Matt Morgan.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like when we're got to figure something else out. You might want to bait those type of players that are very aggressive. And again, that's part of the scouting report. How aggressive are they? Are they really, really, really aggressive that You want to bait them, and hopefully they miss, and that's how you get points. But if they're hot, it's going to be hard. So it's going to be interesting. Once those stats and those things start coming out, it's going to change the game for sure. Even more than it is now. It's going to evolve it, and it's going to make players even better.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for coming on here, taking the time to talk about your experiences, the new show, Cornhole Culture. I believe it is on YouTube, is it not? And the ACL YouTube. And anywhere else people can find it?
Yeah, on Apple Podcast. It is on SoundCloud. And I believe that's it. Or Google Play as well. Yeah.
Okay, so for everyone, once they're done watching the Down and Back all the time on YouTube, go over and check out Miguel's show, the Cornhole Culture. And then when you're on the Apple Podcasts, download the Down and Back and Cornhole Culture. You'll get 2 great podcasts, lots of time just to sit and listen. And Miguel, I need to head to Chicago because I got another friend that lives there that I've been meaning for 10 years to go and see. And when I'm there, I will look you up, and we will try and throw some bags.
Oh yeah, for sure. Anytime, hit me up.
Okay. So again, thanks for coming on, and a great cornhole chat.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yep. We go Miguel Villa, a great guy. Check out his podcast, Cornhole Culture. As you said, on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, the Google Play. I believe you said SoundCloud. Just check him out. Some great things. You get a lot of ACL info from there for the ACL in the States. Remember, you're checking here for the ACL Canada stuff that's coming up. And check out, and again, Octane Cornhole. Check us out. We've got some new bags coming out in July here, and I believe Matt's got 4 new sets to go along with the nitros, the clutch, the hole shots, and the Apex. And so I know he's got 4 new sets coming out. I was able to try one. If you see me unsuccessful in a video I put up a little earlier against Jamie Cowan at JC Cornhole, but then if you look over at his page, I got some revenge. It only took me a couple hours, but I got some revenge on him with some new ACL prototype bags. So check them out. Catch us next week here when we have I'll be back with another live show Wednesday, and then another show on Friday. I think the show on Friday is going to be a first for the Down and Back. But stay tuned for more info on that. Until next week, keep having fun, keep throwing those virtual bags, and check out ESPN and other Facebook feeds this weekend for the no longer qualifier, the ACL Pro event in Philly. And so keep throwing those bags, keep having virtual fun. The light at the end of the tunnel is almost here. It's already here for Miguel, but it's almost here in Canada. We are almost playing live. So see you next week on the Down and Back presented by Octane Cornhole.